this was the kind of weekend that I told you guys to be prepared for. The Rays get swept by the Rangers in Texas. That was no good, to say the least. 5-2 on Friday, 6-4 on Saturday, and then they get walked off 4-3 on Sunday. They're now 4-5 on the season, sitting at fourth place in the AL East. And again, I felt like this could have been a tough series for Tampa Bay, and that's exactly what it was. After two very winnable series against Colorado and Pittsburgh, they went to a place where the margins were very fine, and they were going to be finer. So when you watch this team, I think that's the thing that worries you when it comes to the Rays. Against lesser competition, just the Rays being the Rays is going to be good enough. They're going to pitch. They're going to play good defense. They're going to keep themselves in the game. They're not going to make stupid mistakes. It's just they're going to do enough to beat teams that they clearly have more talent than or equal talent with because they do the little things well. But can they hit enough to beat other top teams in the league that also do the little things well? You see a team like the Texas Rangers and Bruce Bochy, right? You know what kind of team that they're going to have. They have champions on the roster. They're a couple of years removed from being World Series champs themselves. So when you're going against Semien, you go against Corey Seager and some of these guys, there's nothing that they're going to see that is going to surprise them. These are veterans in the league. This is why they spend as much money as they did to bring them in. And I just, if the Rays just play kind of like that medium game there, I don't know if that's enough. We have to find out over this first part of the season. Do they have that it factor? It's only 9 games into the season, so we're not going to make a mountain out of a molehill here. But it's something they need to identify and fast because of all of these games that they have at home, right? You have all of these home games. You have to take advantage of them. So, I look at that and it's simple. Offensively, they got to pick it up. Ben Rortvedt and Danny Jansen are combined 1 for 29. After an incredible spring, Curtis Mead is 1 for his first 13. Taylor Walls is batting 136. Yandy Diaz is batting 158. Junior Caminero has 0 home runs and only 2 runs batted in. They only have 5 home runs total in their first 9 games, 3 of them off of the bat of Brandon Lau. The other 2 are Jonathan Aranda and Cam Meisner on opening day. And think about it, 10 hits apiece for Johnny DeLuca and Jake Mangum, 9 for Meisner and 8 for Aranda. 9 for Meisner, 8 for Aranda. Where the hell would the Rays be without those guys? It's time for those other dudes to step up. It's time for Junior to step up. It's time for Yandy to step up. Danny Jansen, I know it's tough first year with a new club, a bunch of new pitchers, but I mean, we saw some offensive prowess there in spring training. We have yet to see it here in the regular season. But I go back to Yandy and I go back to Junior. This is the second straight March/April that Yandy has struggled out of the gates. If the Tampa Bay Rays are going to take advantage of their home-heavy schedule here early in the 2025 season, their best players need to be their best players. We know what the pitchers are going to do. We know what the guys in the bullpen are going to do. That's the bread and butter for this team. I mentioned a guy like Taylor Walls. He's going to play incredible defense. We get that. But you can't have a guy that plays incredible defense and then doesn't even hit his weight. You can't have that. This is not 1992. This is 2025. You need guys that are going to be able to affect the game in all 3 facets. It's got to be better than this. And listen, I'm not freaking out because it is still early in the season, but you start looking at this schedule for the Tampa Bay Rays and you start circling these games and you need the offense to pick it up. You're facing an Angels team that is 6-3, and you got the day off today. You're back in action tomorrow at 7:05 at Steinbrenner Field. 6-3 are the Angels with the veteran Kyle Hendricks on the mound. So you know what you're going to see on Tuesday. You're going to see slow, slower, and slowest. Changeup after changeup after changeup. That's what you're going to see. So the Rays hitters better stay back. They better go the other way. They better stay disciplined. That's what they have to do. These offensive players really need to get it into gear. Shane Baz on the bump for Kyle Hendricks. More about this game tomorrow. Then you have Yusei Kikuchi against Ryan Pepio on Wednesday. Soriano against Zach Littell on Thursday. And then Friday, they welcome in the Braves, who are 1-8 themselves. But do you really want to bank on them having struggles this weekend? I wouldn't. There's way too much talent on that team. Dave Velasquez. Last week, we spoke about great teams finding ways to win. It happened again with the Rays and Lightning. Got to switch stuff up ASAP. You're right, Dave. You are not wrong at all, my friend. A little bit different with the Tampa Bay Lightning because they've already secured a playoff spot. It's a little bit different for where they're at when it comes to the season and learning about their team. When it comes to the Rays, we see what's going on in the AL East. We know what type of offense that these teams have. We know what kind of veteran leaders. There's champions in this division. The Rays, if they want to keep pace, it's not just about, hey, we want to win the division. This is a tough division. We knew that going in. We knew the kind of gauntlet it was going to be. And right now, all the teams are kind of around 500. Yankees leading the way at 6-3. Baltimore's in last at 4-6. I really don't like what I've seen from the Orioles, if that's any saving grace. Better from the Red Sox, even though the Blue Jays are on a 3-game losing streak. You look at it like, okay, they got some skills there, and it looks like they're going to sign Vlad Guerrero to a long-term deal, which I think makes a lot of sense, and I'm happy that he's staying there. But Boston's on a 5-game winning streak, right? We know the Yankees and their torpedo bats, what they bring to the table. So if I'm the Tampa Bay Rays, I look at this series with the LA Angels as a get-right series for my offense. Go out there early in this game, and it falls on Yandy and Jr. It falls on those two big guys. You're going to get paid the big bucks. You're going to be the guys that are going to be in the middle of the lineup. Like, there can't be any excuses. Josh Lowe obviously is banged up. We know what Brandon Lau has done, and kudos to him for really stepping up to the table. And shout out to the young guys, Meisner and Mangum and Aranda. Like, they're doing their thing. DeLuca getting these opportunities that they've never gotten before. They're making the most of them. But we know what a long season is like in the major leagues. We know that eventually, once some of this tape gets out on Meisner, on Mangum, and on Aranda, on DeLuca, that teams are going to adjust. Don't think that the Angels aren't looking at some of the guys that have been swinging it well and that they're not going to focus on them in this upcoming series. And I look even more at the Atlanta Braves, who have a much better, on paper, pitching staff than the Angels. You can't expect these young guys to really be carrying the water for this offense. They're doing what they can, but they're naturally going to regress. They're naturally going to come back to earth. Dave Terry wants to know what's my thoughts on Yandy leading off. Who else are you going to put there, Dave? I mean, he's a guy that gets on base a whole ton, right? He's a guy that finds a way. His on-base percentage every single year is up there, but not this year. I mean, that's the thing about Yandy Diaz. For all the talk about Yandy and off the field and his relationship with Randy and what happened last year and the weight and how strong he is and what he looks like in the gym, like Yandy, and we had this conversation with Brady North last week, what he does in the batting cage. Yeah, I mean, fantastic. You know what's not fantastic? His on-base percentage or his batting average. He's batting 158. He has 6 hits in his first 38 at-bats in 9 games. That's troublesome. That's worrisome. You know what's even more worrisome? He's got 1 walk. 1 walk. This is a guy batting at the top of your lineup. He's not getting hits. He's not getting on base. Yandy's got to pick it up. We're not picking on the guy. We know it's still early, but if the Rays offense is going to do anything, it starts with the catalyst. It starts with the guys at the top of the order. And I'm looking square at Yandy Diaz. It is time. It is time for you to lead this offense. Enough is enough. I don't care. Go out tomorrow against Kyle Hendricks and walk 4 times. Get on base. Because you know what? This offense is doomed if a guy like Yandy Diaz continues to hit like that. And you want to wonder what the attendance is going to look like in the summer when it gets hot as hell out. It's going to get even worse if this offense isn't putting up runs. These teams that they're playing right now, they got to take advantage. And it starts tomorrow night against the Angels.